Hey guys, Broken Soul here. First things first. To all the fans of my channel and to all the subscribers, both those who have been with me since the very beginning and even those who keep subscribing to this day, I owe all of you a massive apology. I have been away for quite some time and I have neglected this channel as a result of that. I do apologize completely to all of you. You all deserve so much more. You've all been so supportive even after I've been gone. But while I've been gone though, I haven't been sitting on my hands, okay? I've been working on my other YouTube channel. Yeah, I actually have technically two YouTube channels. My first YouTube channel, which is Broken Soul Studios, which I highly recommend, guys. I'll be doing mostly podcasts there as well as video game let's plays. By the way, if you guys have any suggestions for anything you want to see me play, please let me know. And before you say it, yes, I'm gonna play Pokemon there, don't you worry about that. But hey, if you guys want to just see me and my friends be stupid, then go for it. Watch it. It's a lot of fun. And my other YouTube channel, I'm gonna call Broken Tabletop, which should be pretty obvious, given the name. I'll be doing tabletop gaming on that one. Things like card games, board games, stuff like that, D&D sessions. In fact, I believe within the next month or two, me and my friends will be doing a D&D session, a My Hero D&D session. However, we'll explain that in greater detail as time comes out. And not only have I been working on my other two channels, I've also been trying to work more on my editing style, my voiceovers, my music, all the different stuff I do for this channel regularly. So, because I want to make sure that when I did come back, that I would be a lot better than what I was when I left. I went through my anime training arc, if you will. But I rambled on long enough, guys. Let's get on to the story. Here we go with part 7 of What If Ash Could Start Over. When we last left off, Ash and the gang had met up with their old friend AJ, who's back at his gym training in preparation for the upcoming Pokemon competition. At the same time, they also met up with their old enemy, Damian, Charizard's former trainer. Damian actually swears revenge on Ash and Charizard for humiliating him the last time that they all ran into each other, resulting in the two of them facing off in a 3-on-3 Pokemon battle. After a pretty one-sided battle, Damian still declares vengeance upon Ash and Charizard, as well as vowing to take down AJ, whom the two of them really didn't get along too well in the last episode. After that, and after spending the evening hanging out with their good buddy AJ, reminiscing and catching up, the three of them make their way to Vermilion City and Ash's next gym badge. We can now move on to the rest of the story. Ash, Misty, and Brock are making their way through a forest when they hear something off in the distance. It sounds like a battle almost. Curious and a little bit intrigued to see what's going on, Ash and the gang make their way through the forest to find the clearing, when they see another familiar looking face they haven't seen in a long time. That's right, guys, I'm bringing back Joe from the Pokemon Prep School. It looks like he's battling that same group of traitors that gave him a hard time the last time we saw him. Ash is about to step in and stop the battle when Brock holds his arm out saying, "Hold on, Ash. Watch the battle." Ash, looking over, sees Joe with an Ivysaur taking down the other boy's Raticate with relative ease, leaving Ash and Misty both pretty shocked at how much skill Joe's gained since the last time they saw him. After the battle, when the boy returned his Raticate, he looks over at Joe and says, "This isn't over. We'll be back with even stronger Pokemon. Just you wait," before running away into the forest. That's when Ash walks out into the clearing and says, "Joe, it's been a while." Joe, looking over after congratulating his Ivysaur, says, "Ash, Misty, Brock, Pikachu, it's been a long time." All four friends greet and catch up with each other, saying how it's amazing to see everyone, how it's been such a long time. Before Brock finally comes out and says, "Wait a minute, Joe, what are you doing out here? I thought you went back home to start your journey." That's when Joe elaborates a little more, saying, "I did. I went home and I picked up my very first Pokemon, a Bulbasaur, which evolved into my Ivysaur, as you can see. The two of us have been traveling all around the entirety of the region. We collected all 8 badges and we were more than ready to take on the Pokemon League. Except one little thing. By the time I collected my 8th and final badge, registrations had already closed, so I wasn't able to challenge the league. So I had no choice, I had to kind of hold off and wait until the next competition, which is coming up pretty soon." That's when Misty asks, "Yeah, but that doesn't explain why you're still over here by the prep school. I thought you hated this place." Joe then explaining, "I do hate this place, however, I'm not here for the prep school. I'm actually here to see Giselle." That's when Ash and Brock both get a little flashback about remembering how pretty Giselle was, getting them both a bop on the head from Misty. "We salute you boys, you're braver than most." Anyway, Joe goes on to explain that he's here to console Giselle. The last time when the competition started, he may have missed it, yeah, but he was still there to root for Giselle whenever she entered the prelims. Because don't forget, whenever you graduate from the school, you have the equivalent of all 8 badges, and you can enter and compete in the Pokemon League. However, when Giselle entered the league, she had to go through the prelims just like everybody else. Unfortunately, she was the very first match of the very first day, and she lost pretty badly. She had returned to the school, however, a lot of the teachers really just didn't pay her any much time, because they saw her as almost like a failure of a student. A lot of the students still look up to her and are still really big fans of her, but she's no longer the same like she used to be. She becomes shallow. Her and I have been keeping in touch, but I've been getting worried about her. So I came all the way out here to visit her, kind of help her cheer her up, and to offer her to come with me on my journey. I figured maybe with the two of us, we can both get stronger together. That's when Ash, Brock, and Misty all nod in agreement, saying that's actually a pretty good idea. Ash going on to say, hey, can we go with you? It'd be good to see her again. Yeah, that's fine. That's when all four friends make their way over to the school. While walking over, Misty actually says, by the way, Joe, why were those three trainers bullying you again? That's when Joe goes, oh yeah, those three boys are jealous because me and Giselle have been keeping in touch and we're still really good friends. The three of them have had major crushes on her for the longest time, so they see me as a major rival. In fact, as soon as I got back to the school, they all jumped me. When you saw me battling, that was actually after about 3 or 4 hours worth of battles. Ash, Misty, and Brock are all in complete shock. You've been battling for 3 hours straight? All with your Ivysaur? That's when Joe goes, no, I have other Pokemon, but Ivysaur was the last Pokemon I had left on my team. Everyone else is pretty exhausted. Luckily for me though, because I'm a former student, I still have access to the school's Pokemon Center, so I can at least get them checked out. That's when all three of them get a sigh of relief, saying, good, at least no one's in danger. Fast forwarding, after Joe had dropped off his Pokemon at the Pokemon Center, Ash asks Joe, hey Joe, where would Giselle be at anyway? Do you even know where her room's at? That's when Joe goes, no, I don't know where her room's at. However, I do know she loves to hang out at the pond in the back of the school. So let's start a search there. That's when the gang sees Giselle sitting on a bench, looking kind of down on herself, next to the water. Her little Cubone trying to console her, but to no avail. That's when Joe walks up to Giselle and says, Giselle, hey, it's me, Joe. Giselle looking over and getting a big smile on her face, saying, Joe, it's good to see you again. She then notices at the corner of her eye that the rest of the gang's all there. She then stands up and runs over to them, saying, everyone, it's good to see you. How have you all been? Everyone's saying that they're all doing good and that they heard that she didn't do too good in the Pokemon League last time. Giselle then has a look of defeat on her face, saying, yeah, I tried my best, but I just couldn't do it. Some top student I turned out to be. That's when Joe goes, Giselle, no, you are a top student. You taught me so much after I left here. You and I kept in touch every single day. You helped coach me from whenever I needed help training. You gave me so many problems and tips whenever I got my badges. And then when you were at the Pokemon League, I tried being there for you as best I could. But I lost track of you after you lost that first match. That's when Giselle goes, that's real sweet of you to say, Joe, but I could have done so much more. I froze up after I got onto the stage. There were only a dozen people there, but still, I froze up. I couldn't do anything. I just stood there and let Cubone get hurt. That's when her little Cubone just walks up to Pikachu, nodding its head in acknowledgement. Pikachu doing the same. That's when Giselle goes, but enough about me. What about you, Mr. Champion and Mr. and Miss Gym Leader? That's when Ash gets a surprised look on his face, saying, wait, how did you know I was a champion? Giselle looking surprised herself, going, wait, how do you not know about this? Everyone knew about that ever since your battle with Misty. What do you mean my battle with Misty? That's when Misty gets a small mischievous smile on her face. She actually explains to Ash that, well, you see, Ash, remember when I told you my sisters took over the gym for a while and took it over as a ballet? Well, the ballets got so popular that they started televising certain events. In fact, the ballet we interrupted, The Tale of the Brave Little Seal, was actually their most famous ballet. In fact, it's so famous that literally every week or so, the entirety of the Kanto region all watches a live broadcast of it. That's when the realization hits Ash. Wait, so you're telling me that when we hijacked the ballet from your sisters, we did it on live national television? That's when Misty starts to awkwardly laugh, saying, yeah, so not only the gym leaders and the champion know that you're recompeting, but so does everyone else in Kanto who watches TV. That's when Brock steps in going, well, you really should have expected this. As a champion, you're already given celebrity status. Now that you're recompeting, I mean, it's a pretty big news story. It was going to get out sooner or later. This is just another part of being a Pokemon master. You have to learn how to deal with all the press. People are going to know your name, and they're going to want to challenge you left and right and center. That's when Ash, looking nervous at first, gets a determined look on his face and a smile, saying, alright then, bring on every challenge, I'll take them all on. That's when everyone starts to laugh, including Joe and Giselle. That's when out of nowhere, they hear a voice. "Hey you, Joe! We told you we'd be back." That's when everyone looks over and they see all the bullies that Joe had to deal with earlier. They're all back in full force, ready for another battle. Joe unfortunately doesn't have any of his Pokemon. Giselle tries to tell him to stop, but the guy just tells her to shut up and stay out of it. Everyone gets mad, especially Ash and Brock. In fact, the two of them step up saying, "Hang on then, if you want to battle Joe, you gotta get through us first." The group of bullies are all just standing there going, "Wait, aren't you the champion? And aren't you a gym leader?" That's when Misty butts in. "Not just them, me as well." All the bullies are scared at first, but then they get smiles on their faces. "Alright then, well I guess if we beat you in a battle, we'll become champions and gym leaders too." So everyone gets together and gets ready for a battle. However, Joe and Giselle actually step away from the battles and let Ash and friends deal with them, while Joe and Giselle just talk. Joe expresses to Giselle that she's more than just a top student, she's more than just what everyone else says she is. Giselle's her own person, she needs to make decisions for herself. Don't just let the label of top student dictate who she is. Giselle still feels sad because feels like she let everyone down. That's when Joe says, "No, you didn't let anyone down. The only person you let down was yourself because of the labels you gave yourself. Don't do that to yourself." Actually, Giselle, there's something I need to tell you. I came all the way out here not only to check up on you, but I wanted to ask you something. What is it? Joe then goes off and says, "Let's both go on a journey together. Let's both become world-renowned trainers just like Ash. And then we'll beat him and become champions in our own right." That's when Giselle starts to smile and tear up a little bit. She even notices that Cubone is actually at her feet, nodding in agreement with Joe, basically saying that he's right and she should go with him. That's when Giselle goes, "Alright then, I'll go with you on your journey." Both Joe and Cubone are insanely happy about this. That's when Giselle says, "However, before we take off, let's do something about that." That's when they look over and they notice that Ash, Misty, and Brock are still in a heavy battle with the other bullies. However, I wouldn't get too worried about it, guys. Our heroes are just playing with them. After the battle, all 5 friends meet up outside the school. That's when Joe explains to the guys, "Well guys, we gotta get going. Me and Giselle have a lot of work to do before Giselle's ready to face off against her first gym." That's when Misty says, "If I can suggest, head to Vermilion City. That's where my sisters are. If anything, they'll be happy to host you. Just tell them I sent you." Joe and Giselle both thank Misty profusely, bowing, saying, "Thank you so much, Misty. We appreciate this a lot," before making their way to Vermilion City. After that, as our heroes make their way to Vermilion City, Ash actually starts bringing something up as they start talking, saying, "Man, I can't believe how many of our old friends are going to be competing in this year's competition." Misty going, "Yeah, it's kind of weird. Gary, Samurai, AJ, and now Joe and Giselle. And I guess if you want to count him, Damian too. I feel like we haven't seen the last of him yet." Ash then going, "Yeah, that's right. We have so many people we have to watch out for. I wonder who else is out there for us to train against." Those were Ash's last thoughts as they make their way to Vermilion City. And I'm actually going to skip ahead a little bit, guys, because after the School of Hard Knocks episode was the episode where Ash caught his 3 starters. His Bulbasaur, his Charmander, and his Squirtle. Now because Ash and the gang aren't completely lost, they actually kind of skip right past Bulbasaur. And because Ash already has his Charmander, we're going to kind of skip across the whole Charmander episode. Plus Damian's already part of the story anyway. However, I am actually going to have the gang swing by the town where Squirtle and his squad are. They stop by not only for a visit, but to also resupply, before they make the next leg on their journey. That's when Ash actually goes right for the fire department, where they see Squirtle and his team all training at the fire department's training facility. Squirtle sees Ash and runs over to him, giving a big ol' hug. Ash then saying, "Squirtle, it's good to see you again." Officer Jenny walks up and says, "Ash," or should I say Mr. Champion. That's when Ash goes, "Oh, I take it you've seen the broadcast as well." Officer Jenny goes, "Yep." In fact, as soon as Squirtle heard the name Ash catch him, he just ran and just was glued in front of the TV. Squirtle wouldn't stop rooting for you the entire time, and when you won that badge, I swear, I think Squirtle actually may have lost his voice. That's when Squirtle looks a little bit embarrassed, in confirmation to all that. Ash then kneeling down to one of his oldest friends asking, "Hey Squirtle, how would you like to lend me your strength again for old time's sake?" That's when Squirtle's eyes just light up. It was hoping Ash would ask that. Squirtle actually jumping into Ash's arms as if he's saying, "Yeah, please, I'd love to battle with you again." In fact, Squirtle is so pumped, it actually shoots a water gun straight into the air. Ash sees that water gun is insanely powerful, especially from how it was last time he saw it. Ash then looks down and saying, "Alright then Squirtle, well, I won't take away from your work here, but when the time comes and I need your help, I'm hoping you'll be there for me." Squirtle then just nods enthusiastically, agreeing to it. Now guys, I know it kind of seems like I'm just skimming through a few episodes or I'm just making stuff up as I go along, but believe me, I'm trying my best to kind of set something up. Trust me, you guys are going to like what comes up next. After that, Ash, Misty, and Brock continue traveling until they reach the coast, where Ash actually gets a little bit nostalgic because it's actually around the same area where Ash had first caught Krabby, and he actually gets nostalgic a bit, saying, "Hey guys, we've been traveling around for a little bit. Do you mind if we just stop here for a while and just do some training?" That's when Misty and Brock both nod in agreement. Brock actually getting stuff ready so he can cook some dinner, and Misty getting ready to pitch up the tents. Meanwhile, Ash just releases all of his Pokemon and begins to train them. His current lineup is Pikachu, Riolu, his newly evolved Gabite, and of course, his Charizard. Now, Ash and his team actually spend the rest of the night all doing some training. Ash takes the time to work with Riolu because of course Riolu is still a newborn baby. He and Pikachu actually spend the rest of the evening specifically training with Riolu. Meanwhile, at the same time, Charizard actually takes Gabite under his wing and actually takes a bit of a mentorship to him. Noting that Gabite is kind of like Charizard when they first evolved. He is powerful, but however Charizard doesn't want Gabite to get overconfident. That's how he'll lose more battles than he wins. A mistake that Charizard really should have fixed a long time ago. The next day, bright and early, Ash and friends finally make it to Vermilion City. The next sight of Ash's third Pokemon badge, the Thunder Badge. The first thing Ash and friends do make their way to the Pokemon Center, where, thanks to Misty, Brock again tries and fails to get a date with Misty. Another side note, guys, as a bit of a reminder, don't forget, if we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna give Brock a date. We are so close. That's why I'm asking you guys, please hit that sub button. I want this boy to be happy, don't you? Anyway, moving on. After dropping off his Pokemon, Ash, Brock, and Misty all head over to the cafeteria, where they're gonna get a good meal. After they sit down, they actually notice something. Several other trainers are just looking at them, staring. That's when Ash notices, going, "Guys, why is everyone staring at us?" Brock and Misty both look at each other going, "I think they might be fans of yours. Just try to ignore them as best you can. Maybe they'll leave you alone." "Oh, Misty, I'm not gonna make it that easy." That's when, right on perfect cue, some random fangirl just screams out, "Hey, isn't that Ash Ketchum?" That's when the entire Pokemon Center all look toward him and start crowding all three of them, wanting an autograph, wanting to talk, wanting to battle, all of it. As the whole crowd is piling onto Ash, Misty, and Brock, they're actually getting really close to Pikachu, making it very nervous and very skittish. That's when Ash screams out, "Pikachu, don't do it!" But Pikachu does it, unleashing a powerful thunderbolt that knocks the entire building out. After Pikachu knocks out the entire cafeteria of the Pokemon Center, Ash, Brock, and Misty all make their way outside, where luckily it's a lot more quiet. Ash just can't believe that he became this popular, like a celebrity or something like that. But that's when Brock pipes in saying, "I told you before, Ash, you need to get used to this kind of stuff. People aren't gonna just ignore you now. They're gonna want a piece of you. They're gonna want an autograph, they're gonna want pictures, they're gonna want to challenge you to a battle. That's just how it is with some famous trainers." That's when Misty goes, "Man, I wish we could go somewhere kind of private just so we hang out and just be the three of us." Just then, they actually start overhearing a fisherman telling a story about how he was lost at sea, how his ship went down, how he lost all sense of direction where he was, when out of nowhere, a Dragonite actually rescued him and took him back to shore, and then just flew away as if it was some benevolent hero. A lot of the other fishermen just dismiss this guy, but he swears that he sees them. He swears that they're out there. That's when the gang walks up to the guy and goes, "Excuse me, sir, what was this about a Dragonite?" And that's when he goes on to explain. He says that there are a bunch of old rumors and old folks tales of Dragonite constantly helping out people around the entirety of the area. He believes that they're not just Pokemon. He believes that they are spirits, good spirits that just help people whenever they're in distress. In fact, there's also a legend saying that there's an island full of Dragonite, but no one's been able to find it. Not the best scientists, not the most advanced technology, not even other Pokemon can find it. That's when Ash gets an idea, saying, "Hey, why don't we go look for the island?" Misty and Brock are kind of nervous, saying, "I don't know, in the middle of the ocean? Really?" That's when Ash goes, "Yeah, come on, we're just into adventure. Plus, like Misty said, even if we don't find it and we just find an abandoned island, it'll be just a good place for us to hang out for a while. Plus, Misty has her Gyarados, so it'll be easy for us to get from here to there, no problem." Another side note, guys, I've been reading the comments, especially those who are asking me what on Ash's other Journeys team. Well, I'm not gonna lie, when I first made this series, I didn't necessarily say I don't want him to catch the team, I really just wanted him to focus on the Pokemon he had now. However, even I gotta admit, I did fall in love with that Dragonite. So, I'm gonna see what I can do to have him catch it and incorporate it into not his current team, but his full-on Pokemon family, I guess you could say. Now, when I did the research for this part, I actually checked to see where was Dragonite Island located, and it just said off the coast of Kanto. That could be any number of cities. So I figured instead of waiting until he got all the way to Cinnabar, I figured I can do it here at Vermilion at the very least. So that's what's gonna happen. Ash, Misty, and Brock all make their way over to the docks where Misty releases her Gyarados. Gyarados is just splashing around in the water and gives Misty a big ol' hug. Aw, the big softy. Misty then explains to Gyarados, hey, we're gonna go out to sea for a little while to see if we can find an island. Can you give us a ride? Gyarados just nods enthusiastically, lowering his head, letting everyone get on. That's when Misty goes, alright Gyarados, let's go. Gyarados then taking off at full speed. After a few hours of searching, the gang are all getting hungry, tired, sleepy, and really they just don't want to be out there anymore. That's when Misty says, alright Gyarados, let's head back. Gyarados just starts turning back and heading back for the coast. When, out of nowhere, a thunderstorm actually starts to hit. Gyarados is strong, yeah, however he also has to deal with 3 trainers on his back, so it's a little more difficult for the giant water serpent to get through the storm. A giant wave approaches. Gyarados dives under, but when he comes up, the only people left on his head are just Misty and Brock. Ash and Pikachu are nowhere to be seen. Ash and Pikachu try to stay above water as best they can, but the waves are getting way too rough, the storm is getting way too dangerous, and the two of them are afraid they're not going to be able to make it. Ash is about to black out and go under the water when suddenly he feels something grab onto him. Then Ash just blacks right out. The last thing he sees is like an orange blur. When he wakes up, he notices he and Pikachu are on a beach somewhere. That's when Ash hears a roar. He then turns around and he sees a bunch of Dragonite all flying overhead into the forest of the island. Ash is completely taken aback by this, saying, whoa, Dragonite! So he follows along, realizing as he runs, wait, is this Dragonite Island? Once he gets through all the trees, he notices fields, rivers, waterfalls, rocks, and a bunch of Dragonite, Dragonair, and Dratini all just playing around and having a good time. They all see Ash, and honestly, if you've seen that Journeys episode, a lot of what happens there happens here. The only difference is when he finds the Dratini that becomes his Dragonite, it doesn't evolve yet. I don't want it to evolve. I feel like the Dratini evolved a little bit too quickly for my taste. I wanted Ash to get to know it pretty well first. So Ash actually catches Dratini and has one of the other Dragonite flying back to the shore. Where Misty and Brock are, they're actually resupplying, getting his ship ready to go out and look for him when Ash just gets dropped off. Misty and Brock are wondering, Ash, what happened to you? What was going on out there? That's when Ash just says, oh, nothing, but I did make a new friend, releasing Dratini, introducing it to his friends. Brock, Misty, this is Dratini. Dratini, these are my 2 best friends, Brock and Misty. Dratini is a little bit shy though, kind of cowering behind Ash, but Ash knows that Dratini will be an amazing companion and a really good friend. Actually guys, that's where we're going to leave it off for now. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Wow, you went through all of that and no gym battle. No, not yet. I kind of want the gym battles to be like their own episodes by themselves, if you haven't already noticed. But don't worry, next time we'll get to it. As for now, I want to move on to my new favorite segment, question of the video. Last time I asked you guys, what other what ifs would you guys like to see me do? I said I'd shout out my favorite comment, and I'm actually going to shout out Brave Valkyrie 1999 for suggesting that I do a Dragon Ball or Naruto what if. I don't know how to show the comment, but if I figure it out, then you'll see it on screen. If not, then sorry. But yeah, that's the comment I wanted to shout out, because with that, it can actually help me make it a bit of an announcement. I want to do more than just one what if. I don't want to just stick with just Pokemon, because I'm afraid I'm going to get burnt out. So here's what I'm going to do. The next couple of weeks, I will be doing, of course, more what if Ash could start over. I feel like I've let it go for too long, so I'm kind of going to get it back into speed. But after a couple of weeks, I'll be including a brand new what if, whether that be Dragon Ball, Naruto, whatever. I'm going to alternate. In other words, I will have one video of what if Ash could start over 1 week, and then the next week it'll alternate to do a different one. Then go back to what if Ash could start over, then so on and so forth, alternating until one story ends up, or I get a new idea for a new story. But don't worry guys, that won't be for a while though. So yeah, Brave Valkyrie 1999, shout out to you, man. Again, sorry if I can't show the actual screenshot, I probably just don't know how to. So my question of the video is this: do you guys think we'll hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the summer? And by the end of summer, I mean by the end of August. So with that being said guys, this is Broken Soul saying, may y'all souls be ever bright. I love you guys. Bye.